In relationships today, one thing is certain. When a woman starts losing interest, most men panic. They chase harder, text more, try to talk it out, or beg for another chance. And guess what? That only makes her lose interest even faster. Why? Because desperation is repulsive. Men are taught that if a woman starts pulling away, the solution is to fight for her, or prove your worth. That's one of the biggest lies society feeds you. The harsh truth is this: once a woman begins to feel less attracted, your response will either make or break the situation. If you react like most men, overcompensating, seeking reassurance, or acting needy, you push her further away. But if you understand how attraction really works, you'll know exactly what to do to shift the dynamic back in your favor. Think about it. Have you ever lost interest in something? Maybe a hobby, a TV show, or even a person? Did someone forcing it on you make you want it more? Of course not. Attraction works the same way. The moment a woman feels that you're trying to make her like you again, she subconsciously values you less. That's why what you don't do is just as important, if not more, than what you do. This video is going to expose the 5 critical mistakes men make when a woman starts losing interest. These are the behaviors that immediately kill attraction and make it nearly impossible for her to see you as the man she once desired. But here's the good news. Once you avoid these mistakes, you create space for her interest to return naturally. Instead of forcing her to like you again, you let her choose to. And that is the key to making her want you back. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand what to avoid, but also how to turn things around the right way. So, if you've ever been in a situation where a woman's energy shifts, where she's suddenly less affectionate, less engaged, and you don't know what to do, stay locked in. Because this will change how you handle women forever. 1. Never chase her. It kills attraction. The moment a woman starts losing interest, most men instinctively do one thing: chase. They call more, text more, and try harder to get her attention. This is the fastest way to make sure she never wants you again. Chasing a woman signals one thing: you value her more than you value yourself. And once a woman senses that, she loses all respect for you. Women don't chase men they respect. They don't desire men who put them on a pedestal. The second you start running after her, she feels she has won. And attraction only exists when there's something to be won. Think about this. A man and a woman start dating. In the beginning, she's interested. Texting first, making plans, laughing at his jokes. Then suddenly, she becomes distant. She takes hours to reply, stops making an effort, and seems busy all the time. What does he do? He panics. He calls her 3 times in a row, sends long texts asking what's wrong, and maybe even shows up where she's hanging out just to talk. Now, let's stop here. Do you think this makes her more interested or less? Less. Way less. Because the second he started chasing, he put himself beneath her. She no longer sees him as the man she once admired. Instead, she sees a man who needs her attention to feel secure. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who needs a woman more than she needs him. So, what should you do instead? Simple. Pull back. If she's showing less interest, you show even less. If she stops texting, let the silence hang. If she cancels plans, don't reschedule. This isn't about playing games. It's about maintaining self-respect. The men women want are the ones who don't chase because they know their value. When you stop chasing, something interesting happens. She starts to wonder why. She starts to rethink whether she actually lost interest or if she just assumed you'd always be there. And suddenly, the dynamic shifts. Men who understand this don't panic when a woman pulls away. They don't react emotionally. They stand firm, knowing that a woman's interest is never secured. It's always earned. 2. Don't beg or seek validation. The moment a man starts begging for a woman's attention, he has already lost her. Nothing destroys attraction faster than a man who seeks validation from a woman who is already pulling away. Most men don't even realize they're doing it. It's not always outright begging like, "Please don't leave me," or "Just tell me what I did wrong." Sometimes it's more subtle, constantly checking in, fishing for compliments, or asking questions like, "Do you still like me?" These behaviors might feel harmless, but to a woman, they scream weakness. Women don't respect men who need constant reassurance. Why? Because it signals insecurity. A high-value man never needs a woman to tell him he's worthy. He already knows it. The moment you start looking to her for approval, she instinctively sees you as less than her. And once she sees you that way, attraction is dead. Let's break it down with a scenario. A guy notices his girlfriend is acting distant. Instead of staying calm, he starts overcompensating. He texts more, asks if she's mad, and even says things like, "I just want to make you happy." At first, she might respond politely, but deep down, she's feeling something she won't say out loud: disgust. Because here's the harsh truth. Women don't lose interest because a man stops making them happy. They lose interest because they stop respecting him. And the more he seeks validation, the less she respects him. So what's the right move? Indifference. If she's acting different, you don't question it. If she's pulling away, you let her. The more unaffected you are, the more she starts to wonder why you're not chasing her approval. And guess what? That mystery is what draws her back in. Men who get this never beg. They never ask, "Are you mad at me?" Or "Do you still like me?" Because they don't need to hear it. They understand that their value isn't determined by a woman's level of interest. It's determined by how they carry themselves, no matter what. If you seek validation, you lose respect. And once respect is gone, attraction follows. 3. Stop over-explaining yourself. One of the biggest mistakes men make when a woman starts losing interest is over-explaining themselves. They feel the shift in energy, and instead of keeping their composure, they go into damage control mode, trying to justify every little thing, clarify misunderstandings, or prove they didn't do anything wrong. This never works. In fact, it makes things worse. When you start explaining yourself too much, it tells a woman one thing: you're too concerned with her opinion of you. And once she senses that, she stops seeing you as the strong, confident man she was once drawn to. Think about it. Have you ever had a conversation where someone kept over-explaining, justifying, or repeating themselves? It felt desperate, right? Like they were trying too hard to convince you? That's exactly how it looks when a man does this with a woman. It doesn't make her rethink her feelings. It confirms that she was right to lose interest. The truth is, women don't pull away because they need an explanation. They pull away because their feelings have shifted, and no amount of talking is going to change that. What does change it? A man who refuses to over-explain himself. A man who knows his worth and doesn't feel the need to justify every action or reaction. If she misunderstands something you said, fine. If she assumes the worst about your intentions, so be it. The moment you stop feeling the need to explain yourself, you regain control of the situation. Because the reality is, attraction isn't logical, it's emotional. And when you try to use logic to talk her back into liking you, you just push her further away. Men who over-explain are unknowingly asking for permission to be respected again. And that's a mistake. Respect isn't given because you explained yourself well. It's given because you carry yourself in a way that demands it. So next time you feel the urge to explain, stop. If she's pulling back, let her. If she's misunderstanding you, let her wonder. A woman values a man who doesn't seek her approval, because deep down, she knows that's the kind of man who is worth chasing. 4. Never try to fix her feelings. Most men make the same mistake when they sense a woman losing interest. They try to fix it. They think if they just say the right thing, make the right gesture, or show her how much they care, she'll suddenly snap out of it and start liking them again. That's not how attraction works. If a woman's feelings have changed, it's not your job to fix them. Women are emotional creatures, and their interest in you is based on how they feel, not on logic or reason. Yet, men waste so much time trying to convince a woman to feel differently. They ask what's wrong, try to cheer her up, and attempt to fix the situation, without realizing that this desperate energy is exactly why she lost interest in the first place. Let's be real. If you have to convince a woman to like you again, you've already lost. Attraction isn't something you can negotiate. And if you're in a situation where you feel the need to work to get her attention back, you're already in the weakest position possible. Wake up. Stop trying to be her emotional repairman. It's not attractive, and it's not your responsibility. Women don't respect men who bend over backward to fix their every mood swing. They respect men who stand firm, who don't let a woman's shifting emotions dictate their actions. You need to understand this. When a woman pulls away, it's usually a test. She's subconsciously seeing if you're the kind of man who stays strong under pressure, or if you're weak enough to let her emotions control you. And guess what? Most men fail this test. They get emotional, they chase, they try to force things back to how they were, and in doing so, they prove they're not the high-value man she thought they were. The only way to pass this test? Do nothing. Let her sort out her own emotions. Let her miss you. Let her realize on her own whether she actually wants you or not. If you stop trying to fix her feelings and instead focus on being the man she was drawn to in the first place, she will be the one working to fix things with you. A man who knows his worth doesn't fix a woman's emotions. He lets her come to terms with them on her own. 5. Ignoring her won't always work. A lot of men think ignoring a woman is the ultimate way to regain control when she loses interest. They believe if they pull away, she'll suddenly realize what she's missing and come running back. And while sometimes this works, the truth is, it's not a guaranteed strategy. In fact, if done the wrong way, it can completely backfire. See, ignoring a woman isn't about punishing her or trying to manipulate her into liking you again. It's about maintaining self-respect and refusing to chase someone who's pulling away. But too many men use silence as a tactic rather than as a reflection of their true mindset. They think, if I just stop texting, she'll come back. But deep down, they're still waiting, still hoping, still desperate for a reaction. And women can sense this. If a woman has truly lost interest, ignoring her won't magically make her care again. Sometimes she's already checked out, she's already moved on, and instead of realizing this and shifting focus elsewhere, a lot of men waste weeks or months in silence, waiting for a text that never comes. Wake up. If a woman isn't interested anymore, it's not your job to play games to win her back. The right response isn't just to ignore her, it's to move forward with your life like she doesn't even exist, not as a trick, not as a strategy, but because you have better things to do than sit around hoping she changes her mind. The harsh truth? If she still has some level of attraction, giving her space might bring her back. But if she's already lost all respect for you, no amount of ignoring will fix that. She won't care if you stop texting. She'll just assume you finally got the message. Men who understand this don't play games. They don't go silent just to get a reaction. They remove their attention completely, not to manipulate her, but because they refuse to beg for something that isn't naturally theirs. So if you're thinking about ignoring her to make her chase you, ask yourself this. Are you doing it out of confidence, or are you just scared to face the truth? If it's the latter, you've already lost. 6. Stop trying to be the nice guy to win her back. A major mistake men make when a woman loses interest is trying to be extra nice to get her back. They think if they just show her how kind, understanding, and accommodating they are, she'll suddenly realize what a great guy she's losing. But this approach never works. It only pushes her further away. Why? Because niceness isn't what builds attraction. A woman doesn't lose interest because you weren't nice enough. She loses interest because somewhere along the way, she stopped feeling that deep pull toward you. And acting even nicer in response won't reignite that attraction. It will only make you look desperate. Let's be real. Being overly nice after she starts pulling away is a weak move. It comes off as people-pleasing, not confidence. She doesn't need a man who bends over backward just to stay in her good graces. She wants a man who knows his worth, with or without her interest. But too many men fall into this trap. They think, if I just show her how much I care, she'll change her mind. So they start complimenting her more, doing favors for her, agreeing with everything she says, all in a desperate attempt to get back in her good books. But what they don't realize is that this behavior kills respect. Women don't respond to niceness, they respond to strength, confidence, and presence. If she's losing interest, the last thing she needs is a man groveling to win her back. What actually works? Pulling back, letting her feel the absence of your attention instead of smothering her with it. Being kind is not a weakness, but being a doormat is. If your idea of winning her back is treating her like a queen while she treats you like an option, then you've already lost. A woman can sense when a man values himself, and that is what keeps her interest, not overcompensating with fake kindness. Men who get this don't chase with niceness. They don't act like a puppy waiting for her approval. They stand firm, respect themselves, and understand that real attraction isn't about how nice you are. It's about how much she respects you as a man. So if she's pulling away, don't try to nice your way back into her life. That's not what she's looking for, and deep down, you know it too. 7. The power of walking away. When a woman loses interest, one of the most powerful things you can do is walk away. Now, this doesn't mean storming off in anger or giving her the cold shoulder. It's about realizing your own worth and not chasing after someone who's not invested in you anymore. Walking away is one of the strongest moves you can make because it shifts the power dynamic and puts the ball back in her court. So many men chase after women when things start to go south. They panic, thinking that if they just try harder, do more, or show more affection, they'll win her back. But all that does is push her further away. It shows her that you're willing to beg for her attention and approval, which is the complete opposite of attractive. No one, man or woman, is drawn to desperation. But when you walk away, it's different. You stop investing in someone who's not giving you the same energy. You take a step back and show that you have boundaries, that you're not going to keep trying when you're not getting anything in return. And here's the kicker. It makes her question if she's losing something valuable. Walking away isn't about playing games or manipulating her into chasing you. It's about respecting yourself enough to let go when things aren't working. It's about understanding that your value isn't tied to her interest in you. It's about living with the mindset that you're fine either way, whether she comes back or not. When you walk away, you force her to confront the reality that she might lose you. And that's the moment when the power shifts. She starts wondering what she's losing, and if there was something more to you than she realized. Most of the time, this is when the attraction can begin to rekindle. But if it doesn't, you've already moved on with your life and won't waste any more time on someone who's not fully invested in you. So, if you're stuck in a situation where a woman's interest is fading, try walking away. It's the ultimate sign of confidence, self-respect, and understanding that your worth doesn't depend on her feelings. That power will either bring her back or you'll find someone who respects you from the start. Either way, you win. Here's the truth that might sting a little. If you're constantly chasing a woman who's losing interest, you're not acting like a man. You're acting like a beggar. Attraction isn't about begging or pleading. It's about confidence, self-worth, and knowing when to let go. If she's not giving you the energy you deserve, walking away might just be the most attractive thing you can do. And if she doesn't come back, you won the game by not losing yourself in the process. I want to hear from you. Have you experienced a woman losing interest and tried to win her back the wrong way? Or have you walked away and seen the power of doing so? Drop your thoughts and experiences in the comments. I'm here to connect with you and dive deeper into what's really going on in your life. I'm always happy to reach out, offer advice, or just have a conversation to help you level up in your relationships. Let's build a real connection and figure this out together. Because remember, you're the prize. You don't have to chase after anyone who isn't willing to chase you.